September 23rd, 2026 special meeting of the Edenton Town Council to order. I apologize for starting a few minutes late. We were having a few technical difficulties up here, which we have taken care of. The first matter is consideration and approval of a 2026 Community Waste Reduction and Recycling Grant, and we've got David Myers here and also Corey Gooden to help us explain more about that.
Evening, Council.
Good
Sorry,
evening,
I have a
David.
cough, so I do have a cough drop in.
Okay.
So this grant here would be our third grant for recycling. Our recycling program started December of 2023. So this is for $30,000 to help with a skid steer to help load the recycle into the trailer. And the one we currently use is about 25 years old. Dealing with all that trash, you can imagine the shape that it's in. This will go for our 26-27 budget. The town had to spend about $40,000 to get that 30. But that'd be something we budget come our new budget in July. So, and it's much needed, I can promise you. So,
Our, was it tons per month or whatever, has that increased?
I was looking at it right before I came here. I think we were the first year around 190. We were around 181,000 tons this time, and this year we're already at 50,000 tons. So I see it going up. We just did our last recycle grant. We got dumpsters, we got recycle carts, a lot of education material. So we're seeing a lot more involvement from the community. And now with the dumpsters, we got commercial properties.
The citizens know what Wednesday.
Sometimes it depends on.
Still have an issue with that?
We still get calls. So.
Okay, any more questions? It sounds like we need it, and I'd rather get it when we have some money available to help, as opposed to waiting and it break down, and
Yes,
then
sir.
we have to act out of desperation and not have $30,000 to help us. So those are my thoughts on
Yes,
it.
sir.
Any more comments?
I just need to thank them for continuing to go after these things too.
Yeah.
Great effort, third year in a row.
Yes.
It's fun.
There you go.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this grant as described.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second. All in favor of the town approving this grant as described by David Myers, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, David.
Thank y'all.
So next we move to a series of public hearings, and I need to open the public hearing for the 5 agenda items that are on the agenda. So I declare the public hearing for these purposes so opened. The first matter that before us is a public hearing in case number RZ 26-01, which is an application from John Larry Sellers requesting to rezone property located at 706 North Oakham Street from R5 residential to R3 residential. The affected property is also identified as PIN number 7805-20-81-5589. Before we proceed on this hearing, Councilman Sellers, is there a matter of procedure we need to discuss?
Yes. Mayor, I'd move to recuse myself from any hearings involving my direct family members.
And the law reads if a direct family member is involved, it's mandatory that Mr. Sellers make that notification to us, and we would also need to vote on his request to recuse himself from this matter.
So moved, Mayor.
All right, we've got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of Councilman Sellers recusing himself from this particular hearing, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you for letting us know that fact. Okay, the way we run these things, first there's a presentation of staff reports, and Dwayne Wilton, will you come forward?
There's a lot of paperwork that's going around, so I'm through it real quick. Alright, so the applicant, Mr. Sellers, is seeking to rezone property located at 706 North Oakham Street to R5, from R5 to R3. In your packet, you will have the map showing the specific location. And the existing zoning R5, minimum lot size 5,000, minimum lot width 50, lot coverage is limited to 60%. Recently, council has approved the R3 zoning district, which would require a minimum lot size of 3,000 square feet, minimum lot width of 30, lot coverage of 60, and building height of 35. Both are in the proposed land use classification is identified as medium to high density residential. In the medium to high residential, it occupies about 20% of the town's planning jurisdiction. And if you remember, R3 was for, to help with affordable housing, I think is the ultimate cause, but also for infill development and to help with the infill on lots that are already non-conforming, and to bring these lots into a more conforming status and put restrictions kind of on how it can be developed. So, public utilities, properties in the corporate limits. It is located within the town, protective services provided by the Edenton Police Department. Its subject property is located on Oakham and East Hick Street. Physical characteristics at this point is vacant land. The after-mentioned parcels, the applicant seeks rezoning from R5 to R3. The rezoning request may be considered appropriate given the compatibility of the surrounding residential properties and the intended purpose of the parcel as single-family detached dwellings. The potential rezoning of this parcel, R3 residential, was consistent with future land use map designation for medium to high density residential areas. So, please be aware that the rezoning of this project, this property will permit all uses permissible in R3 residential as listed in the town of Edenton's Unified Development Ordinance. If granted, the rezoning request, property owners will continue to have to comply with all the regulations included within the town of Edenton's Unified Development Ordinance. You see, there was an existing structure there that's been demolished, but you see your maps there. Recommendation, staff has determined the application for Mr. Sellers for a zoning map amendment is complete and that is compatible with the 2018 Edenton Shoreline Land Use Plan, and that the rezoning would result in no inconsistency with the existing and future land classifications for the subject property, and it meets the requirements of the town of Edenton's Unified Development Ordinance. The Edenton Plan Board met on March 2nd and unanimously recommended approval of this rezoning request. So town council plan consistency statement would be required at this point, but that's it for the staff report.
Planning board recommending 100%.
Yes, sir. Every number did.
And Dwayne, we recently, was that within the last 6 months or so, changed our zoning ordinance to include a R3 designation?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I recall some of the thought processes behind that was smaller lot size reduces the cost of the land and also reduces the size of a house you could put on that land with the hope that you would have more affordable housing than a big house on a big lot. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. And with the rezoning, I mean, they're still gonna have to meet the setback requirements as approved by council and every other restriction that's approved by council. This just will allow for them to subdivide this and be able to put some smaller homes there, which I've heard from the community is a great necessity for the school system and the new schools there, and the Board of Education that's right there. So this could be an asset to them as well.
And the only difference between R5 and R3 is the minimum lot size. Everything else is pretty much the same.
Yeah, minimum lot size, I think some setbacks are a little lenient on the R3, but it still has to meet the 6% lot coverage, 35 feet max height. But I think other than that, most of the regulations are the same as R5 and defined as medium to high residential.
And I mean, sort of my understanding that these type of developments are now encouraged by, like, not necessarily our main street, but, the sort of the main street approach that brings more people into the middle of town. It helps create, a vital, thriving center core of the town.
A more walkable community is kind of what.
Yeah, less dispersed services, I mean, it's all right there, it just, I guess everything's already there, water, sewer.
been a,
Very, very close to the school.
it's been a great parking lot for football games though.
And Dwayne, this fits in with our future land use map and plans and goals.
Yeah, well, with the R3, it's basically mirroring the R5, which is our smallest lot. So it's all considered medium to high residential. When we update our land use plan, we'll include the R3 zoning district, but as of right now, it's listed under the medium to high residential density.
And this house is on, like Mosley Street and MLK, they all would be in this type of
That's
classification.
30 to 33
Yeah.
feet wide, basically, this way.
When you ask that question, you refer to existing lots?
Existing lots that are, and we
Already in
already,
town.
you know, the town founders already had planned this.
Mhm.
It's just,
We see
zoning
several,
got in the way for a while.
yeah, we see several throughout the town municipal limits of being about 33 feet wide. And we just have to work with them at this point on attempting to meet the setbacks, but not punishing them for not meeting them. So we're pretty good. So this helps alleviate that, put stricter, or put a standardized kind of development ordinance in place for those particular properties.
Okay, any more questions of staff? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Next, we've got a presentation from the applicant or applicant's representative. Anything you want to add?
Well, I'm gonna bring Chris back up here. He's the builder. He's gonna buy the lots for me. Originally, we were gonna do townhouses, but this way, everybody wants a single-family house. Not everybody wants a townhouse, so maybe one day we'll do some townhouses in town. But Chris can explain to you what he wants to do, and I think it's wonderful.
Width on those lots.
18 on the lot.
So in this particular parcel, currently zoned R5, it's 14,800 and some square foot, which is not 3 lots and not 3 homes. By going to R3, it becomes 4 lots, 4 locations for homes. And our width is greater
It's
than
a
the
secret.
33.
It's 40.
40.
41.
So we're gonna make maximum use of this property. As Dwayne mentioned, there's minor differences in the setbacks, maybe instead of 12, it's 10. But as was also mentioned, we have a lot of lots in this town that are non-conforming, that are gonna fit in this category, and that kind of makes them legit again. Somewhere along the way, Cape Colony, for example, where we're also trying to build some houses that are considered affordable, that got painted R15. We were building on 50 by 100 lots, and I have to use those setbacks, which makes it even harder to get a house on those lots. So I think the more we can set these up the right way, the better off we're going to be moving forward, where the setbacks meet what you actually have for a piece of property.
What size houses do you anticipate would be placed on these lots?
Anywhere from a 2-bed, we do a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, it's about 850 square foot, up to maybe 1,200 square foot. Again, we're asking for smaller lots, we're working on smaller lots, so we may have to go up, a 2-story version, which we've got several models of that.
What's the cost per square foot now?
We'll have to build the whole house, including the driveway and the porches, and I always tell customers, I know you're gonna go home and divide the heated square footage by my price and say, oh my gosh, it's this much. But the reality is they're gonna be between 2 and probably on these lots, 200 to 225 a square foot, sell price, which includes the land. Somewhere in that range. But, we're not gonna cut on any of the quality. We're gonna have the same house. The price is driven, that's consistent. The price is driven by the cost of the land and the size of the home.
The house that you did, I think you built it by the street department, by Dave's office?
Yes.
up there?
Yes.
That's gonna be about the size of the house?
Yeah, that's an example where, we're not spending too much money until we get this through. but we're looking at different elevations for that size house. So that size house was drawn as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We make it 5.5, 6 foot deeper and make it a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So, you know, potentially someone could buy it, have a roommate, another teacher, you know,
Would everybody have
young
a
family.
driveway
Yes,
attached?
yes. We're mandated on a 2-bedroom, 1.5.
Yeah, so I think it's, 3 parking spaces, I believe. Oh, yeah, it would be 2 parking spaces.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do 2. I thought it was 1.5 on a 2-bedroom and 2 when you get to a 3-bedroom, but
Yeah, 1.75, something like that,
Yeah.
in place too.
yeah. We don't do those .75 parking places. There's a few .75 cars running around here, but we're gonna give you a whole parking place.
Okay, are there any
Anything
more
else?
questions of the applicant and applicant's representative? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
As our procedures go on this type of hearing, we have a public comment period designated as a public hearing within this public hearing. And at this time, the next agenda item is public comment. If you have public comment, I'd ask that you come forward and identify yourself and limit your comments to 3 minutes. So I will hereby open the public comment period of this agenda item. Do we have anybody present that wishes to speak? There appearing to be none, I would close the public comment section of this agenda item. And at this time, we move forward to further comments, questions, and deliberations from town council. Councilman Dixon, do you have anything else to
I
add?
think this is great.
I think so, it's great to have
Exactly
more
what we
housing,
need.
yeah. And more affordable housing too.
Well, when we made the change to our zoning map to include a R3, this is the type thing that we had in mind. And it will address something that almost every time we have some sort of public event related to how things we can do different here at Edenton, people talk about affordable housing, smaller housing that can be affordable for people. So I think it meets our long-range plans in that regard. Any other comments? All right, well, council and general public, there is an established procedure that we must follow in these types of matters, and we'll have to go through this 4 more times. But as you recall, council, there are 5 questions that we need to answer. One of those is the ultimate question of whether we've approved this, but before we get to that, there are 4 preliminary questions that the council must answer in the positive before we can move to the next question. So the first question that we always have in this type of thing is whether or not the proposed change will endanger the public health or safety. And I would entertain a motion that this project would not endanger the public health or safety.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further comment on that sub-question? All those in favor of a finding that this particular change will not endanger the public health or safety, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the next sub-question that we have to answer is whether or not the proposed change in use would not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property. Does anybody have a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay, we've got a motion by Councilman Dixon and a second by Councilman Bond. All in favor of a finding that the proposed change and use will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting properties, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next sub-question is whether the particular change will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Do I have a motion and a second for that particular finding?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the finding that this change will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And next, we need to make a finding that the use and change will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council. I'll entertain a motion and a second on that sub-question.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the finding that this change will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by the town council, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, since council voted in the affirmative on all those findings, it leads us to the ultimate question, and I would entertain a motion that the town council approve the rezoning of the subject property from R5 residential to R3 residential.
So moved.
I got a motion?
Second.
Second. Got a motion and second. All in favor of the rezoning of the subject property from R5 residential to R3 residential, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that particular change from R5 to R3 is hereby passed by town council. The next public hearing is on the same piece of property from the same applicant, and this is to create 4 lots on the property located at 706 North Oakland Street by subdividing it into those aforementioned 4 lots. And Councilman Sellers, do you have the same concern here that you had in the first one?
I do. I'd again ask to be recused.
Okay, just need a motion and a second in order to recuse Councilman Sellers from participating and voting in this matter.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of Councilman Sellers' recusal from hearing this matter, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we move forward to the staff reports. Mr. Wood?
In your packet, you see the preliminary plat that's there. So any lot over 3 in this zone requires major special use permit for the subdivision. So basically the same as before, with the major special use permit, I pull the goals and objectives from our land use plan, and those are listed in the staff report. Develop and implement strategies to promote regeneration of population growth, ensure the town's development ordinance conducive with emerging economic trends such as telecommuting and cottage industry entrepreneurship. Establish local development policies, programs, resources to promote increased home ownership in town. The town will encourage location, business, residential development, and service providers that serve retirees while creating jobs for younger residents. The town is supportive of cottage industry entrepreneurship, and the town encourages the development of housing types that accommodate retirees, young professionals, and millennials. You see an excerpt or a map of where it's located, same location, 706 North Oakland Street. The major special use permit process requires applicants to specify the exact proposed use of the land and allows the town council to place restrictions on the actual development. You see an excerpt from the UDO showing major subdivisions and the requirements of the major special use permit. Planning board met for this one again on March 2nd, and unanimously recommended approval to the town council with staff recommended conditions. And we'll once again go through those 5 requirements. The applicant has addressed these conditions of the attached application. I have 2 of the approved, staff recommended, and approved planning board recommended conditions. All details and improvements, including but not limited to facade, signage, infrastructure, sidewalks, landscaping, street lighting, shall be installed/constructed according to UDO requirements. All necessary traffic improvements, utility installations and connections, electric, water, and sewer built to town standard, and drainage, stormwater detention improvements shall be installed by and all associated and required fees borne by the developer. Staff does find the proposed use to be in conformity with the Edenton Shoreline Land Use Plan and offers the following decision statement for the council's consideration. So you have the consensus statement right there and listed the goals that were read through before. So basically, taking one parcel and converting it into 4 subdivided lots and matching the zoning requirements of the R3 lot.
Okay, Dwayne, so the planning board recommended approval unanimously, and you, as part of the staff, are coming with the same recommendation that we approved.
Yes.
And the policy reasons for approving this, are they basically the same as the reasons why you recommended that we change the zoning from R5 residential to R3 residential?
Yes, sir. It's infill development, creating a lot consistent with the R3 zoning district that was approved by council. Checking off a bunch of the goals and policies that the land use plan has identified, including supportive of development of housing types that accommodate retirees, young professionals, and millennials, and knowing that their intentions are to build single-family detached dwellings. The opportunity to meet these goals and policies is the reason why I came, the planning board and myself came up with recommendation of approval for the major special use permit for the subdivision.
And if we approve it, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're just gonna go out there and do whatever they want to do. They're still gonna have to meet all the requirements of the town that you just set forth.
Yes, sir, the conditions, the recommended conditions, and any condition that is imposed by town council, they would have to follow, as well as UDO requirements, building code requirements. If approved tonight, the next steps, when they decide to build, would be the building permit. I would probably meet with them beforehand, and then a zoning permit and make sure they're meeting the setbacks of the R3 zoning district. So there's still checks and balances in place to make sure that all of the requirements are being met.
Are there any other questions of Dwayne from this council? Okay, thanks, Dwayne. And Chris, if you don't mind, just come forward, just so we can establish something for the record. Similar to what I asked Dwayne, basically the reasons you think this is a good idea, are those the same reasons that you thought it was a good idea
They are,
to change the designation from R5 to R3?
absolutely.
And as it relates to this specific request to allow subdivision into 4 residential lots, anything that you want to add to your earlier statements?
I'm open for questions if anybody has any, but I think, I think most of it has been said, and these are not the last 4 that I want to build for the town or the community. So obviously I'm gonna work through everything we need to get through to get these right.
What would be your goal time once everything's approved?
Honestly, I've got so much going on right now. I tell people all the time, I could start you sooner than most people, but it's taking me longer. So most houses are taking me 6, 7 months. Now, these are not really large, but I've got a great team that I use on every single house, and there's a whole lot of them going on right now. Mostly in Chowan and Edenton, few in Perquimans.
In this particular parcel, will you be doing one house at a time?
Probably at least 2 at a time.
2 at a time?
Right, 2 at a time. Initially, that would leave a great, tremendous laydown area. It'll get more challenging as we get down to the last lot. But we've got, if you ride by now, we've got one staked out at the other end that we were gonna do. And I'm probably gonna do 2 of those at the same time. We're doing 2 simultaneous in Cape Colony. We've done that before. That makes it easier for everybody, and if something's not quite ready, they can go next door.
They'll all look a little different though?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on elevations now.
Okay.
We want it to look like it belongs here, but not look like, 4 in a row that look the same.
How many of your houses that you've done have you sold in Cape Colony?
7, 8, all of them, I can tell you that.
7, and we're building 2 more right now.
Yeah, 2 under construction. We have 10 or 12 more lots in there. We're working with that HOA. They're trying to strengthen their HOA again, so we're helping them do that and helping them.
And you've moved those fairly quickly, haven't you? I mean, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
been any problem at all.
No, we
So
can't,
I think that's-
finish them. Some of them we come in with a USDA customer in place, and the ones that we build, we got some people interested in one right now that's only a foundation. I can't finish it fast enough for some people, honestly, it's almost impossible to build a spec house in this area because somebody's gonna buy it before I'm done. It's gonna be a contract house, And a lot of times they wanna do that soon enough to make selections, which we let them make some selections. Siding color, paint color, maybe flooring, certain things that they can pick. If they get there fast enough.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Next, we move to the public hearing portion of this public hearing. Is there any public comment? And again, limit your comments to 3 minutes, and if you'll come forward and let us know your name, identify yourself, we'd be glad to hear from you. Any comments on this? There appearing to be none, we next move to the section of the agenda where town council can ask further questions, seek answers, and also deliberate. Are there any further comments or questions as it relates to this application? Okay, as we did before, we have to go through the 5 questions. At this time, I would entertain a motion that the subdivision as proposed would not endanger the public health or safety.
So move.
We've got a motion and second. All in favor of a finding that the subdivision would not endanger the public health or safety, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The next question for consideration is that the subdivision will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property. Do I have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and second. All in favor of finding that the subdivision will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting properties, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next question that we have to consider is whether the subdivision will be in harmony with the area in which it is located.
So moved.
Have a motion? Second. Second. All in favor of finding that the subdivision will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up question is consideration of whether the subdivision will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council. I'll entertain a motion and a second regarding that question.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and second. All in favor of the finding that the subdivision will be in conformity with the land use plan, the thoroughfare plan, or any other plan officially adopted by the town council, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then we move to the ultimate question. This time, based on the positive answer to the 4 previous questions, I would entertain a motion to approve this major special use application.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approval of the major special use permit application as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is approved. Next, we move to agenda item subsection D, and this is a consideration of case number RZ 26-03, an application from Interbanks Asset Group LLC, which involves a request to rezone the property located at 307 East Queen Street from R5 residential to R3 residential. The subject property is further identified as having PIN number 7804-88-88-1921. At this time, we would ask Dwayne Wilton to come forward with the staff report.
All right, this is an application for a, basically a rezoning from R5 to R3 zoning district, 307 East Queen Street, 0.48 acres. Basically the same as before, within town, classified as medium to high density residential. Vacant, this particular lot was a vacant land with a former Class C trailer park on it. The request to rezone the aforementioned parcels from R5, which is 5,000 square feet, to R3 allowing 3,000 square feet minimum. This rezoning request may be considered appropriate given the compatibility surrounding residential properties and the intended purpose of the parcel. The proposed rezoning classification R3 residential does not alter the predominant existing land use pattern in the surrounding area. The potential rezoning of this parcel to R3 residential is consistent with future land use plan designation of this and neighboring properties as medium high density. Proposed rezoning results in no change to either existing or future land use classification of these properties. You see a current zoning map showing the R5 zoning district, as well as the location of that and the location on the future land use map. Staff has determined that application from James Chesson for a zoning map amendment rezoning is complete, that is compatible with the 2018 Edenton Shoreline Land Use Plan, and that the rezoning will result in no inconsistency with the existing and future land use classification for the subject property. Planning Board met on March 2nd and unanimously recommended approval of this rezoning request. One thing I do want to state is that this is just a rezoning and not a major special use permit or anything like that. This is just they're gonna present what their intentions are with the property, but this isn't, if it requires them to come back for a special use permit, they will. I think after this, I'll work with them on any feedback that is given to kind of wrangle it in, but as what they've given me, it meets the R5 zoning district requirements. So I just wanted to put that up, but, and then the town council plan consistency statement, but that's it.
Okay, any questions of Dwayne Wilkes? Dwayne, does anybody remember how many mobile homes were on this lot?
If I remember correctly, I think there's 6 structure points, and I might be located. There are 6 structure points up there, which leads me to believe there was at least 6 at any given time of Class C trailers on that location. When I got here, I think there was 2 or 3 left, but historically, there's 4 structure points, leading me to believe there was at least 6 structures on that property.
Is this near the oldest house?
Yeah.
Right,
It's
across
across the
the
street.
Mayor, I was going to point out that it's odd that we have to vote on this for 6 new property or new houses to go there when before there was 6 homes there. Yeah.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
I think previously the property was a non-conforming use for this location.
Yeah, I think, given it happened some point in zoning, that it probably became non-conforming with it. But historically, I don't know how far this goes back, probably the 70s or 80s, there's at least been 6 structure points. And I can get the history probably from land records and bring them next time if we come, but, come back for a special use permit. But I think historically was operating as non-conforming, but had 6 units on it.
Okay, any other questions or comments of Dwayne while he's up there? Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Next, we've got presentation from the applicant or the applicant's representatives.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Town Council. Like Dwayne mentioned, we're working on the R3s tonight. I come as a private resident. We'd like to test the cottage court concept in that, on that lot, similar to the trailer parks, and we've thrown together a kind of a 3D rendered model of what that could potentially look like with a walkable, smaller square foot concept. That provides accessible housing units that are walkable downtown, and right next to and honor that kind of street near the Mill Village. So this is just a mock-up of a model. The architectural designs have not been finalized or anything of that sort, but the idea being that this is Queen Street here, and so you have the cottage court concept in the R3 zoning is that all the houses face a common courtyard, 300 square feet per unit, and then the Queen Street facing houses, which actually I think I've turned it around on you, would be this side, would have kind of a wraparound porch to look as if they're facing the street as well as the common space between the units.
Are they about 1,000 square feet?
That's what we're going off of, a 2-bed, 1-bath, 900 to 1,000 square feet.
Is 6 a little crowded in that area?
It is a tight concept. That's what that lot can support. You couldn't do any more unless you go a lot smaller on the square footage. You could do a tiny home concept, but the R3 zoning allows from 4 to 12 units on a single lot without subdividing.
You seemed a really interesting older one in Suffolk. You ever seen
No,
that? Yeah, it's really more to see it, yeah.
It's mocked up on the same and trying to mimic the Mill Village, you know what I mean? Same kind of concept, same kind of houses, so it kind of blends in with it. Not trying to stand it out, not trying to make a track housing in there, not trying to put up a townhouse. I think it would stand out a little too much in that area, but I think that was also approved in that area. But this would just kind of blend with everything on the street and up the street, and just trying to mimic what the town already is.
So that's Queen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, so you see just
Yeah, I mean, these are models just to put it on there so people can grasp, but like he said, wrapping the front porches around the front too, would give it more of a street view. and then mimicking the houses down, but not trying to change the houses too much, I'm not trying to make one small, one little, they're all gonna pretty much coincide with each other like this to make them all blend, just like the village.
We each have their own character, color, elevation, okay.
And
To get to the back ones,
be two roads on either side of the units. And to your
Will the
earlier,
roads be behind, like in the backyard, so to speak?
right now, the site does not support that, without, with the setback requirements and of that sort. But to your earlier question, Councilman Miller, you could do less units, but then the economics of the development of the site require larger units at a higher price point. You could do, so the 6 units at a smaller footprint makes it paper a little better. If you bring it in and split it into two lots or 2 units on there, you gotta do larger houses at a higher price point.
So each house has a driveway.
It does next to it, and there is room enough to double the driveway, to double the car parking. Again, this is just a concept that we put together to get through the approval, and then obviously, once through this approval, we then go to the building approvals, which then will change up what we have to make the changes, to meet code.
One nice thing about having the driveways on the side is that it adds to the setback, so I think this is just so awesome.
Yeah, we understand there hasn't been a cottage court in Edentons. This is more to visualize it.
Yeah.
Than anything
As
else.
planned, like if I'm looking at your mock-up here,
Mhm.
and models in front of me, if I owned that far left, I would drive on this side.
Yes, sir.
It's very nice.
His left.
Yeah.
So, I only have one left.
Okay, are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Make it look good.
No other way.
Okay, next, we come to the public comment, public hearing phase of this particular public hearing. If you have comments, please step forward, identify yourself, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My biggest concern, comment, and I guess it would also apply to the structures to be built on North Oakham, is last year, because of power failure, according to the lineman who worked on the lines across from my house, my brand new HVAC unit was blown out because what the lineman had told me is one transformer blew, they changed the transformer, power went back on, and then another transformer blew. They changed that and another one went on. So I believe it was around October, the power went on and off 3 times on South Oakham Street. My home is at 107 South Oakham. My name is Leslie Kesbarrow. I apologize for not saying that to begin with. I live at 107 South Oakham. The computer board inside of our HVAC unit was blown out. Both the electricians from the town told me it was because of the power outages, as did the 4 separate HVAC companies who still have not been able to find a control board to put in to fix my brand new HVAC system that I put in less than a year ago. My entire winter was spent with space heaters and a gas fireplace. Thankfully, I'm in a position where I can afford to pay twice as much for my utilities because I can't use my brand new HVAC system. If you're planning on 10 more housing units on the exact same block, I want to make sure that we're not going to have issues with power, that there's substantial issues with power. I know, having had meetings with the town, and the town has, and I would like to personally commend Corey for following through, taking very accurate notes and really trying to assist us with a variety of issues we had, and I have absolutely no complaints about any of that. He stood up to his word on everything. I'm not looking to damper anyone's projects. Certainly, I own a restaurant, so when you bring more people in, it's much more money in my pocket. But I don't want to live another winter with pieced together, and I'm certainly not going through a summer here with no air conditioning. So I want to make sure that there are things in place that will guarantee that we're not going to cause more problems with the grid by putting in all these new houses. That's my one concern.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know that. Any other comments from the general public?
I just want to say, I think it's spectacular to have that built here in Edenton. I mean, I can see people copying that all over eastern North Carolina. I think it's just wonderful.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, come forward.
My name is Mimi Stark. I live on Phillip Street in the Middle Village. I've never paid attention to any of this. This is my first time to know about it. My concern is that the houses are not so tight together that if you sneeze on one porch, they say, God bless you, one down. I think there needs to be a substantial side yard between these houses, and I question if 6 is too many, perhaps it should be 4. I think it's wonderful, it's going to be used, I hope they're charming, I hope they look just like that original little house that's there, but I don't want to see it be so tight together that it looks overcrowded.
Thank you. Okay, there appearing to be no further public comment. Okay, come on, Pat.
I'm Pat Grover. I also live in the Mill Village, and I'm just wondering what the distance is from wall to wall on those houses. In the Mill Village, it's 27 feet. So if it's at least that much, it looks like it'll be okay. Do you know approximately how much?
I just want to reiterate that this is
Yeah,
just.
this is just.
Just a rezoning.
Right.
This is not, yeah, and then we're gonna work through as we get to our special use permit. But this is just for rezoning to move forward with the site design and stuff like that, all that. But
They'll be back here. This is
Yeah.
Have to go to the Preservation Commission also?
it's just outside the president.
It's not, okay, it's not in the.
So they'll be back. The applicant will be back here
Yes.
for a
Yeah.
major special use permit.
Yes.
And we've got an excellent example of how it works, and can work either way. Here we have an applicant who's asking for the change from R5 to R3, and they're going to come back later to request the
That's where we
special use permit. And then earlier, we had Mr. Sellers and Chris come to us and they asked for a rezoning from R5 to R3, and then follow that up in the same hearing tonight, ask for the approval of the special use permit.
That's right.
So one did it
Yeah.
in one meeting, and one's doing it one now. And
That was because of the snowstorm that kind of bunched us up with the first applicants. But this will, the major special use permit, when they come, that's when the conditions can be placed on the property. This is just a rezoning to see if it's even allowable to move forward, but that's a major permit.
And does the special use permit, does it always involve the TRC, the Technical Review Committee, or is that just a certain size development?
Usually, certain size development coming in, what I would do is, which David has left, see what needs to be done from an infrastructure standpoint, if the taps are still there. But it's just an infill development, it's not one of your larger developments that will require all kinds of, infrastructure to be placed on the property. So, we'll probably have like a small TRC that we would run on this property. This is just, we would probably do that either right before or just after to make sure everything's good to go. This is a smaller development, wouldn't really trigger.
And given the concerns that have been raised, would the electric department be a part of that smaller version of the TRC?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Usually it's, department heads within the town, that would be a part of any small discussions that would require that, absolutely.
And at those meetings, you'll bring it up to the electrical department concerns?
That way we can have some answers at the next meeting to be able to, kind of tell you what's going on and if it's good to go.
Right. You got a question?
So Corey, last meeting, we talked about the new grid and how we can transfer power from station to station, correct? if 10 of these were to overload it, do we have room to transfer it to another area?
Yes, so we feed in off Church Street in two locations, particularly with the location for Ms. Schwartz is located right at one of our circuit disconnects. And one of the things we've been doing, and particularly for this one, is to move the service line for this particular property just north of that, so it stays on. But one of the things we've been doing for our system improvements is putting those back in auto closures, where they cycle and close on their own. So as things return, crews don't have to come back out and switch those in, those are still units. We do have the ability to feed the Queen Street location from both the Mill Village side as well as the Oakland Street side. And there was some above ground power that was removed from the rear of the property when we were able to work with the former property owner to get that cleaned up from the original 6 homes that were there. So there may be a third entry point at the north end of this 2-acre property. It's already there for overhead. So we may have 3 options to choose from here.
And with the Mill Village line, did we have the same degree, have we had the same degree of difficulties as was described on Oakland Street?
No, particularly with Mill Village, it is the only service area in town that's powered by Dominion, so it's not a town electric customer.
But you could still route it that way? Is that through some interlocal agreement or?
We have overhead that parallels the area there along the railroad track, and east to west along Church, and then north to south on Oakland, as well as on King Street, the 400 block of East King.
And Next Grid is up and running in that part of town?
I do not know. But we started really at our most outer edges, and we're working our way back towards the center of town.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, as we've done before, let's go through the 5 questions. The first question is whether or not the rezoning will not endanger the public health or safety, and I would entertain a motion in a second regarding that question.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All in favor of finding that the rezoning will not endanger the public health or safety, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next, we need to consider whether or not we'll adopt a finding that the rezoning will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property. Got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of finding that this rezoning will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we need to consider whether this rezoning will be in harmony with the area which is located. I'll entertain a motion in a second regarding that finding.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of a finding that this rezoning will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And next, the 4th sub-question is whether this would be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council. Do I have a motion? All right, second.
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor of finding that the proposed rezoning will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, having answered those 4 sub-questions in the affirmative, we need a motion and a second on the ultimate question of whether or not we're going to approve this proposed rezoning.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the rezoning from R5 residential to R3 residential, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Just bear with me. We've got 2 more to go. The next matter that we need to consider is identified as public hearing MSUP 26-02. This is an application from Paul Latcher requesting to create 6 new lots by subdividing property located at 204 Whiteman Lane. The property is also identified by the PIN number 7805-00-58-7086. And Dwayne, you're earning your keep tonight.
Yes,
Come on board.
This was a lot of work this last couple
Can
months.
I ask a question first?
Yes, sir.
I thought Whiteman's Lane was in the county.
This is in the ETJ, so it's in the planning jurisdiction of the town, but it is outside the corporate limits. Yes, sir. It is, I don't know how far it is in the ETJ away from county property, but that's, it's within our county or our town jurisdiction.
It's in the county.
It's in the county for tax purposes, but in the planning jurisdiction for town purposes.
That extends 1 mile past our corporate limits or our city limits, so it's within that 1 mile zone.
Okay, so
Does that make it?
so that's right across from Ford Place and Hampton Inn and stuff like
In
that?
that same, down that same Whiteman Lane, yes. Right. Yeah, and that is within 1 mile of our city limits. You're trying to get out of us having to hear this.
No,
Trying to get-
when you say Whiteman's Lane, you know, I always, Whiteman's Lane was in the county.
Right.
So I was just wondering, where was it at?
Yeah.
He knows where his voters are.
Huh?
You know where your voters are. Not like the lane.
Their water and sewer will go through who then?
Yeah.
Through the county. Okay.
So is that property where they had for sale in it? North of that, it was just, north of where the old, dance studio location was.
Oh, that's all the way down Whiteman's Lane.
Yeah.
That's more than a mile.
Was that the property Lowe's was thinking about at one time?
That's more than a mile.
It's the way the crow flies.
It's the way the crow flies. That's more than a mile down there though.
It just feels like it does feel all the way down there.
We've got that ETJ marked on our map.
That's down there by you, ain't Jared? That's down there.
Is it in our ETJ?
Yeah, it goes actually down to where the pavement is in the rocks.
Come
Yeah,
on,
the
now.
pavement goes to the dirt road. It goes that far.
That crow will be tired by the time.
Okay, Dwayne, we'll leave it up to you for the presentation of staff reports.
Yes, sir. And I look now. See, I made a mistake on my staff report. This was for 6 lots, not for 4. I put 4 down there, but this is for 6 lots. It is a basic measure special permit for a to subdivide lots, not for a subdivision, which you would think of create new roads, extension of sewer services, or anything like that. It's just creating new lots. So we're turning they're going to be turning 18 acres, which is right there, or 20 residential. Right now it is vacant, I guess existing farmland or was farmland at some point. So with this, I go through and look and encourage population growth, promote economic development, provide recreation and open space, and foster housing choice. The goals listed, the most applicable goals is develop and implement strategies to promote 3-generation population growth in town that builds on existing resources and efforts to attract retiree population, expand these efforts to include attracting new millennial and mid-career professionals. Ensure the town's development ordinance is conducive to economic trends as telecommunity, cottage, industry, entrepreneurship, establish local development policies, programs, and resources to promote increased ownership within town. The town will encourage the location of business, residential development, service providers that serve retirees, while also creating jobs for younger residents. The town encourages the development of housing type that accommodate retirees, young professionals, millennials. As stated, this is outside of the town corporate limits. The water services will be available by Chowan County and electric by the town. The property is located within the town's ETJ. The subject property is located on Whiteman Lane. So basically R20 means a minimum of 20,000 square feet. If you look at the preliminary plat that was submitted within the application, we're ranging anywhere between 2 and almost 4 acres, I believe it was. So well above what is actually needed for that particular zoning district. The recommendation, the major special use permit process requires applicants to specify the exact proposed use of land and allows town council to place restriction on the actual development. According to the applicants, I'll let them speak on this. It's for single-family detached dwellings. The planning board met on March 2nd, 2026, and unanimously recommended approval of the municipal use permit application, along with the 5 questions that y'all will vote on tonight. Next is the future land use map showing the location, and if you have that in front of you, Councilman Bond, you'll see that it's just inside the ETJ limits.
As the crow flies.
As the crow flies. So the proposed staff recommendation along with the planning board, all details and improvements shall be installed and constructed according to UDO requirements. All necessary traffic improvements, utility installation and connections shall be installed by the developer, and fees, associated fees board, and stormwater drainage shall meet any required NCDEQ regulations. And staff does find the proposed use to be in conformity with the Edenton land use plan, Edenton joint land use plan, for, lower density residential areas.
Did I hear you right, but didn't you say water was gonna be provided by the county?
Mhm.
So
County
electricity is not gonna be provided by the town either, right?
Yeah, we have electric that runs down White Lane.
How about sewer, is it sewer?
No, so
Septic, kind of.
we have electric that comes in north from Paradise, across Paradise Spur, along the dirt path to the farthest end of Paradise, and then down, Whiteman, and then.
That is
north to
town
south.
utilities, right?
Town electric, yes, sir.
Dwayne, any concerns from residents, neighborhood residents?
Not that I'm aware of. I think I've spoken to a few. I think there was some misconception because every time somebody hears about a major subdivision, they automatically think they're going to put in a lot of houses. When in fact, this is just creating lots that are going to be accessed only from Whiteman Lane. There's no internal roads. It's just going to be very large lots with homes on
How many, 6?
them. 6, that's right.
These lots different size.
Yeah, I think they range, and I'll let the applicant speak on it. You have your preliminary plat in your application. I want to say they range from 2-point-some acres to high 3 acres.
And this is sort of more of the same that's down, I mean, it's sort of conforming to what's down there now.
Yeah, it's very rural down there. This is going to maintain the rural feeling. It's not high density. It's very, very low density. Like I said, a developer could go in there and put in 20,000 square foot lots, which is a half acre.
And it's currently zoned what right now?
R20.
R20. And it's going down to R, what?
No rezoning. It's just R20, except this is going to be a lot higher density because it's larger lots.
Okay, any other questions of Dwayne?
So this is still gonna be classified as county land?
It's still county land, but we've got zoning control over
I
that.
got that, but it's still gonna be county land.
Yes.
All
You
right,
know it's town utility, electric, right?
Yes.
any more questions?
Is that our, voting on the special use permit? Is because it's?
Because it's within the ATJ.
Okay.
Neighbors would say.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Next, we'll hear from the applicant or the applicant's representatives.
Good evening, my name's Eddie Hyman, I'm a professional land surveyor, and I'm helping the client with the project. We've done a boundary survey, drawn the preliminary subdivision plat here of 6 lots. The clients wanted to use all the existing drainage of the agricultural land, and actually did have a crop planted on it last year, soybeans. And they didn't want to disrupt the drainage, so we're gonna let each cut of land be a lot. And they vary in sizes from just a little under 2 acres to 4.5 acres, 4.3 acres. Again, we're putting 6 units on 18 acres of land, which is very low density. Like I said, it exists under R20 zoning, which would allow a lot on every half acre. But we're going with the low density, and is not to disrupt the drainage. Like I said, the existing drainage patterns are set up, so we didn't feel like going through and disrupting all of that. and doing a lot of land disturbing. Each cut of ground is gonna be a one-unit residential lot, or one house. Like I said, all the adjoining owners got mailings for the meetings. We notify them all by mailings, and, but I'll be here to answer any questions you may have. And let me speak to your question about the ETJ. As cities grow, they want to have a say in what's being going on closely adjacent to, into the county areas. So every city and municipality has an ETJ that they have a say in of what's coming, because at some point this may get annexed in later down the line. But so as municipalities grow in all the counties, they have an ETJ. So they can have a say in what's going on, and that's what's taking place here. We're actually in the county, and will remain in the county, but the city has a say on what's happening at their back door for now.
Okay. What size houses are you planning on building?
We're gonna have to set up a, deed restrictions, and we'll probably be around 2,000 to 2,500 square foot. My plan is not to build every house, but to just turn them into lots and then there sell them. We may build a few houses, because I do build homes for a living, so we may build a few houses on a couple of them. We are not 100% sure yet. We're just trying to get this all kind of passed through and get this part done.
So you're trying to get it established, build a couple of homes, and then sell the rest of the land?
We could, well, we could sell the lots, yes, sir. But we will set up deed restrictions, because of course, if we're gonna keep some of the lots to build on, we wanna make sure that the houses that are built next to us follow the same guidelines that we are going to build.
Is this gonna be like a little community? You gonna have streets in here?
No.
You making it?
Every lot in here is gonna front on Whitman, White
Copy of
Lane.
this? You wanna pass that around?
He's got a copy, but I'll show it to you. Can I approach you?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, I ain't gonna shoot you. I hope so. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. This may be too small for you to read, but this is
Oh, I
Whitman.
got glasses.
This is Whitman Lane,
Uh-huh.
White Lane, and these are the lots. Each cut of the farm ground is 700 feet deep. And 266 miles, 200.
Okay, I know the land good. Got family that lives down there. That's why I'm asking a whole lot of questions.
Each one is relatively 600.
Okay, so each lot is gonna go straight to the lane itself?
All the way to the back. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
All right, I'll be available for any other questions.
Do you foresee, if you were to sell one of these lots, somebody else asking us to subdivide that even further? Or would the covenants protect against that, or the deeds protect
We will
against that?
protect, we'll, in the deed restrictions, we will put that they are to stay how we subdivide them.
All right,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Still ain't told me what kind of houses you're doing.
Single family homes. In the deed restrictions,
2,500,
in the deed restrictions, we'll put 2,000, 2,400 square foot homes. The lots are nice size, you know.
Would you think about a spec home for all?
Yeah, I mean, that's, we do
That
plan to
way
build a
people can
spec
see
home.
what you're talking about, you know.
We do plan on building a spec home, and that's why we would need deed
Okay.
restrictions.
Okay.
Because if not, then I could build a spec house and then have a bunch of double wide trailers, and that's not gonna be in comparison to what we want it to look like. And
Any more questions of that?
I have a question.
Okay,
I have
well,
a question.
when you can come up, when it's, we're getting ready to move to the public comment, and if you'll express your concerns or questions, and then we can bring them back up, okay? We'll be glad to hear from you. We're getting really close to that part of the agenda, all right?
Okay.
So we'll bring you up. Okay, from here, from this council, are there any more questions?
No, I'm eager to see what my uncle and cousin has to say back there.
Okay. Thank you, and if you would just stick around.
I'll be available. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you. So next, we have the public comment period of this public hearing, and I will open the public hearing on this particular agenda items. So if anyone has any questions or concerns, please come forward. We just ask that you identify yourself and limit your comments or questions to 3 minutes. So please come forward.
My name is Mary Copeland. Some of my questions have already been asked, but anyway, I would like to know, will the houses, when they are built, will the houses be facing Whiteman Lane, or will it be?
Yes, Whitman Lane, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, will they all be the same color, or?
No, they're gonna be whatever the homeowner that would purchase the lot in the house would want to put a color.
Okay. About how many bedrooms, okay?
3 bedroom, 2 bath is starting size.
Are they single families?
Yes, ma'am.
After you use part of the land that you plan to use, or will other houses be built?
No, ma'am. We have 6 lots, they're already subdivided by the ditches, and that's the way we intend to keep it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming forward. Anyone else?
Uncle Jerry, you gonna stay quiet back there?
This time I will close the public hearing on this particular agenda item. Are there any other questions or comments by council other than the ones that we've already stated? There appearing none, we're going to go through once again the 5-question format that we have to follow. At this time, I would entertain a motion that the application and the proposed subdivision would not endanger the public health or safety.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second. All in favor of finding that the subdivision will not endanger the public health or safety, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next question before us, and I will entertain a motion to this effect, that the proposed subdivision will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second. All in favor of finding that this proposed subdivision will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next question before us, I'll seek a motion and second on a finding that this proposed subdivision will be in harmony with the area in which it will be located.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Got a motion and second. All in favor of a finding that this proposed subdivision will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next question before us is whether this proposed subdivision will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other officially adopted plan by the town council.
So moved.
Got a motion? Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor of finding that this proposed subdivision will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Lastly, that moves us to the ultimate question. I will seek a motion and a second that town council approve the major special use permit application as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor of council approving this major special use permit application, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We next move. The next matter before us is a public hearing identified by case number MSUP 26-03. This is an application from Ryman Bond LLC requesting permission to construct a building to provide business incubator space for small businesses and outside storage located at 114 and 116 Mexico Road. The property is further identified as PIN number 7805-00-34-3829. And at this time, Dwayne, your center stage again, please come forward and present your report.
You still gotta come in tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, I'm here. This is good stuff. So, the application before you today, I sat down with one of the applicants and was trying to figure out what route to go, because this is a fairly unique, idea. So, basically, we have 1.67 acres at 114 and 116 Mexico Road. The existing land use is commercial, the zoning is commercial highway. Existing land use is vacant property with existing building, and it appeared to have been commercial at some point. So going through the four things again, I won't bore everyone with it. This one really hints on the promoting of economic development, and identified the goals and objectives and policies in place that kind of mirror what this use would be. Promote and establish a broad range of new commercial uses in town. Develop and implement strategies to promote 3 generations of population growth. Develop a strategy for expanding job opportunities in healthcare, tourism, and vocational training sectors. Town will encourage the location of business, residential development, service providers that serve retirees while creating jobs for younger residences. The town of Edenton encourages new commercial uses to locate in any commercial area within town. The town encourages entrepreneurship and the opening of new locally owned businesses, particularly retail establishments and restaurants. Property is in the ETJ, but it's just outside of the town municipal limits. The application for you is requesting to have a major space use permit for a multi-use incubator space for small businesses and with some outside storage. So what I did is, being kind of a unique use and not really defined within our UDO, I went with outside storage as needed a major space use permit, and then anything else that kind of fall underneath that. The major space use permit process requires applicants to specify the exact proposed use of land and allows town council to place restrictions on maximum development. You'll see where I took excerpts out of the UDO. Basically, this is an office use not otherwise classified, and outside bulk storage of non-hazardous material. The planning board met on March 2nd and unanimously recommended approval of the major space use permit to town council with staff recommended conditions. Once again, you have to answer those 5 questions. The proposed use is compatible with the Edenton future land use map, where it shows it as being a commercial space. So the applicable regulations from the UDO, the following conditions were suggested. All details and improvements shall be installed and constructed according to UDO requirements. All necessary traffic improvements, utility installations and connections, drainage, stormwater, detention improvements shall be installed and associated fees borne by the developer, and stormwater drainage shall meet any required NCDEQ regulations. And staff does find the proposed use to be in conformity with the land use plan. So that's kind of where it is now with the staff.
That's gotta be county water, town electric, and they also have access to town sewage, correct?
No sewage, so it is just north of that. It'll be, we'll have to have future conversations about any annexations that wish to happen for the extension of services. And Mexico Road is a DOT road, so if they want driveway permit, if they need driveway permits, it would go through NCDOT. But if they want an extension of any type of utility services, then we would have to look at annexation of the property.
And what kind of business is going there now?
So it's an incubator space, and I'll let the applicants kind of speak on what they're thinking with it. But I believe it's up to 6, 5 areas where a small business can have a startup. And I'll let them answer that. But it's I guess if someone wanted to do tent, I think was wrong, then they can rent out a space to do tent while they're not having to spend money on a larger unnecessary area. So they would have a place to do that.
Is it commercial now?
It is a commercial, yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? All right, at this time, we would get a presentation from the owner's representative. I think we've got Dr. Brian Bunn here.
Thank you so much. My name is Brian Bunn. Myself and Josh Reidenbark are kind of the two owners of this LLC. And a lot of this came out of just brainstorming ideas and wanting to work together. I've been in Edenton for about 12 years now. Of course, work in the community as well as invest in the community. Work with South Broad Investments, have a building downtown. They have a building as well as a couple of rental properties in the area. So this is my home, and my hope is to make it better. Josh, been here a lot longer than I have. He owns several wash houses. He's involved in entrepreneurship and likes to make nice stuff as well. So we came together with this idea. The acreage that we purchased is just shy of 1 3/4 acres there on Mexico Road. And in between was the Dixie Auto and there's a garage there as well. With the goal of basically putting up a building, 10,000 square foot metal building on the space. Potential for another one in the future, but we'll just kind of see how this goes, as well as to have on-site storage opportunities. Part of this is incubator for us as well as incubator for whoever wants to start a business. Some of the ideas that kind of swirled around, and I spoke to a gentleman who fixes boats in his driveway. He said he'd love to have 3,000 square foot to figure out, hey, how can I do this? There's nowhere for that need to. Folks that might want a place to store an RV. There's no real good places to do that in Edenton. Folks that somebody doing a tenting business out of their garage that needs 2,000 square foot. There's nowhere to do that in Edenton. So we said, well, let's try to find a way to get that in Edenton. So that's where this came out of. The building, as is right now, is 10,000 square foot with 14-foot garage doors, as well as 5 doors to be potentially divided up to 5 2,000 square foot units, as well as opportunity for using outdoor space. There's a current building on the premises. It's about 1,000 square foot, and East Coast Site Works, which is the business owner Josh Reidenbark, is currently renting out that space, fixing it up for starters, and then going to use that to help source some of their goods. So that's our goal and plan.
What face Mexico Road?
The building?
Yeah.
So not exactly. The building's actually, so there's currently about 1,000 square foot building that is facing kind of perpendicular to the road. It's going to be behind that one. So that's where we.
So that they can rent it out short-term or long-term, whatever y'all decide on? Or they will?
So I mean, most likely it'll be long-term because there will need to be, infrastructure put in. For instance, if they wanted 4,000 square foot, then there's going to be a wall that's going to come into that bay, as well as whatever, building needs to be done inside. So,
long-term. Yeah. It was mentioned at the planning board meeting about bathrooms. That is a requirement. Is that correct? Bathrooms inside the building. Okay.
Yeah, most likely we'll have at least one per unit.
Yeah, they'll have to meet the building codes requirements, so yeah, that would be required for bathrooms.
Okay, any more questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you, Dr. Bunn. All right, I'd like to open the public hearing portion of this. Anybody here to speak on this particular application?
I just have one question. As we know, across from my home was built, it is someone who's supposed to have a mobile auto repair, and they're doing it all in their driveway, which leads to over trash and things around that I wouldn't expect in a residential area. I know this is a commercial building, but they're gonna have outdoor storage, so the question is, are they anything stored outside, is it going to be usable? In other words, my concern is that the town winds up having a junkyard because somebody rents a space and puts 3 cars that will never run in there, and then it slowly becomes a place to store, for $100, I can store a junk car here, a junk car there. So the outdoor space, are there gonna be restrictions on what can be stored in that?
For us in particular, I don't prefer to have junk. And so for me to be able to keep tenants in these properties, it's gonna have to be nice. And our major goal is gonna be, or one of our goals is gonna be to fence in everything with black fence so that you can't see it. For instance, if I'm gonna charge them $100 a month to park their RV, it needs to be secure and safe. You know, if it's junk, it's gotta go, so that's not gonna be part of what we have envisioned.
So whatever's gonna be stored, it's gonna be usable in some form.
Oh, correct,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
that was my concern, I just didn't want it, because sometimes when you get these outdoor spaces, it goes from, I'm gonna just park my car here, to all of a sudden you have
Sure.
junk everywhere.
Yeah, it would be hard for us to make money if we let too much junk on the floor. So,
I thought so, just wanted to put that on
Thank you,
there,
Liz.
thanks.
Thank you. Okay, any more comments from the public? All right, at this point, I will order that the public comment section of the agenda item be closed. Any further questions or comments from town council before we deliberate on the questions that are before us? Okay, we've got this down pat by now, I hope. Do we have a motion to the effect that, a motion and second, that the proposed use will not endanger the public health or safety?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of a finding that the proposed use will not endanger the public health or safety, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, I'll entertain a motion that this proposed use will not injure the value of adjoining or abutting property.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of a finding that the proposed use will not endanger the value of adjoining or abutting property, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we move forward to the question of whether this proposed use will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of a finding that the proposed use will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fourth question, I'll entertain a motion that the proposed use will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council. Got a motion? Second? Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor of a finding that this use will be in conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, or other plan officially adopted by town council, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the ultimate question, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the major special use permit application as presented. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of town council approving the major special use permit application as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Bond. Appreciate it, good luck. Okay, next, the item that we need to discuss requires us to go into closed session per North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11. A4, the purpose of the closed session is to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the areas served by this public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that might be offered by the public body in its negotiations. I would entertain a motion that we go into closed session. We've got a motion, we've got a second. All in favor of this body entering into closed session for the purposes so set forth, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. We've got to go into closed session.
Listen.